What's going on, fellas? Urban Red Pill. Men first. I hope you guys are putting yourself first out there. Today, this is going to be a bit of a small rant, and I'm hoping that this video will enlighten some guys on what the fuck is going on here. Now, I'm getting real sick and tired of men in 2020 with all the information available still having these same arguments of not understanding what the fuck it was that destroyed the family, and especially when it comes to the black community, would destroy the black community also. And the crazy thing about this is when you speak with these men, when you talk to them, no matter what the race is that dealing with the same situation where their communities are falling apart and they have this freaking gynocentric female hyena epidemic going on, the first thing they want to do is they want to blame the government. In black people's community, they want to say that it's white supremacy. They want to say that the quote unquote the system, right, is the reason behind all of this. Now, the point that I want to try to make here is you have to zoom in the microscope back to accountability on a female. And I'm going to give you guys an example. I'm going to read just a few sentences. The article on this with these facts will be in the freaking description. Now, if you guys would just follow me, and towards the end, I will make my point very clear and let you guys understand where I'm coming from with this. This is a quick quote. In 1989, Errol Rickens, a researcher with the Rockefeller Foundation, found that between 1890 and 1950, blacks had a higher marriage rates than whites, according to the U.S. Census. Okay? Ricketts observed that between 1960 and 1985, women-headed families grew from 20.6% to 43.7% of all black families. Did you hear that? From 20.6% to 43.7%. That is more than 50%, okay? Notice the years between 1960 and 1985. Quote, again, it is dramatically clear that the black females married at a higher rate than white females of native percentage until 1950, national data covering. Decennial years from 1890 to 1920 show that blacks are outmarried whites despite a consistent shortage of black males due to their higher rates of mortality. And in 3 of the 4 decennial years, there was a higher proportion of currently married black men than white men. So what they're telling you is at that time there were more black men married than there were white men in that gap. Okay? Now, ask yourself this. What happened between those years, between the year of 1890 and 1950? What happened? What happened was the president, Mr. LBJ, they created what they called a poverty bill, which I am going to reterm the hypergamy bill. The poverty bill, quote unquote welfare, was, and this is what I want you to think about before I even say this. What the fuck is a war on poverty bill? What is it? It doesn't even make sense. Poverty is not a war. Poverty is a condition, it's an environment. There's no war. What are you fighting when you create a bill that says a war on poverty? That was a welfare bill, okay? At the end of the day, guys, the percentage, the numbers don't lie, jump from 20 to over 40%. What happened is, at the end of the day, your women sold you out for hot dog water. Those bitches sold you out for hot dog water. They did not give a fuck about family. They didn't then, and they don't now. Women never did. All of this stuff about, oh, women care about family so much, that is a fucking lie. Because if you could look at the numbers with the welfare, the moment that the government created a hypergamy bill, what happens was this. Certain tier men were, in other words, certain tier men were below a female standard, even if she was some freaking busted up hand beast. Okay? If you were not middle class, and if you look the same thing applies now. No middle class, no deal. No deal. So the analogy I want to make with this, if you go, let's say you get a loan from the bank to go and finance and purchase a car. And let's just say the car that you purchased, in other words, it was marked up for $20,000 more. You didn't know it. You bought the car and you got yourself a bad deal. Is the manufacturer to blame for that? Is it the manufacturer's fault that you paid $20,000 more than what the MSRP of the car was? No, you took the deal. You took the deal. The government laid welfare out on the table to entice female hypergamy in order for that system to actually work. Remember, welfare doesn't work unless there's no female, unless there's female participants. Now, I'm gonna give you another point, and I'm gonna show you the difference at that time with even the race barrier when it came to applying for benefits. At that time, black women, it went from 20%, 20.6% to 43.7%. At the same time, the white women only went from 8.4% to 12%. So for some reason at that time, white women did not think the deal was good enough. And that could be because a lot of them were in marriages to maybe a middle class situation. Now, I will give you an example on that, which I call the trifling triangle, okay? And this is the exercise that these women do in these three different tiers. The dumb, poor, female, unattractive woman, the one that's non-selective, right? She wasn't selected. What this woman will do, right? She will go out and she will pick a bozo hanging at the gas station, pissing on the side of a dumpster to actually have sex with him, because at the end of the day, she needs his seed in order for her to, engage into the hypergamy with the government. You can't get welfare as just a single woman. You have to be a single mother. So, she's busted. She's dumb. She's unattractive. Nobody wants her. The only guy that is willing to sleep with her unprotected will be, Tyrone at the gas station. That is the reason why a lot of them end up getting pregnant by these type of men. Because what happened is once you get on welfare, I think they average the amount. That's like making $50,000 a year. Average. Just by a woman between housing, food stamps, and certain SSI checks. That puts them in like a $50,000 a year bracket without even having to get a fucking job. Okay? The second tier female is the child support bitch. What this woman does is, yes, she has a job, but what she will do is she will still practice hypergamy by getting a guy with a decent job, fool him into getting her pregnant, because she know her chances of marriage will never happen or rarely happen unless she finds some sucker. She gets his seed, and what she does is she goes to put him on child support. It is very common to find guys paying $15,000 to $20,000 a fucking year on child support alone. If that woman is making $60,000, $70,000 a year, if she could get that seed from that guy, especially if she could get multiple kids from him, that'll automatically put her in a higher middle class bracket. So she's going to use the child support hustle. The other tier is the more elite women. They're going to use the marriage hustle because at the end of the day, that's where all the cash and prizes are. She gets access to this guy's company, his property, everything that he's owned. She gets half of that. Okay? So with those women, they go after the marriage. But what do all of these strategies have in common with this trifling triangle is that they all need to fool men into impregnating them for any of these systems to work. So at the end of the day, 100% of the accountability goes to the female, not the one who put a buffet of food on the table. If you go to that table and you eat that and you catch diabetes, it is not the fault of the buffet. It's the fault of your fat ass. You went there and ate a whole turkey by yourself. You went there constantly eating that food over and over again. And with that said, the women are the ones, especially in the black community, their fee is to be held to the fire on this, because at the end of the day, white women could have took welfare at that time also, but they didn't. It went from 8.4% to 12%. Black women went from 20 something percent to over 40 something percent, which was more than double. So what they did was they took the hot dog water. They didn't give a fuck about you as a father. They didn't give a shit about no family morals, no family values. A matter of fact, they could care less about the vows that they took at the reception. So we have to get past this thing where there's some magical system that forced these women at gunpoint to go and practice and exercise these laws that were meant to destroy the men and the fathers of their children. This is 100% on at the feet of the women. And at some point, guys, we have to start calling them out on this shit. I know in the red pill community we do it, but I'm in public arenas, man. These guys are constantly just blaming a system, and I'm quite sure these women sit idly by and they sit there and say, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. You keep blaming the system. You fucking stupid. You fools." The point is, they took the fucking deal. They turned their backs on you for hot dog water, and that's the bottom fucking line. Welfare, welfare is one of the main top three factors for the destruction of families in America. And the reason why I was able to work is because those fucking bitches went and they took the deal. That welfare is nothing but a legislated hypergamy. That's all it is. That is all it is. They knew what female nature was. They knew how to get this woman away from this man. And what they did, they legislated it and put that rat cheese out in front of her, and that fucking rat bit. You guys take care. More videos will come. I just wanted to give this quick rant, and you guys take care of yourself. Remember, men first. You come first. At the end of the day, nobody else out here gives a shit about you. You cannot partner with a creature, who is willing to destroy her children and destroy her family off of the back of some goddamn hot dog water. Take care.